Correll. Welcome, Lacey.
Hey, thanks for having me. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you awesome. You take it away, girl.
Okay, perfect. Well, first of all, just thank you for the opportunity to be on here with you guys tonight. And for everyone that's showing up, like kudos to you, because those that show up, 100% go up, because you'll always get value of some sort, even if it's something you've heard in the past, or maybe it's brand new concept, you'll be able to apply it to your business. So I'm excited to come with you today to tell you a little bit more of the background behind, yes, being a wife, yes, being a mom. I just remember 12 and a half years ago, not really having a big dream, not really having a big vision, not really having a lot of self-confidence. And when someone asked me the question about joining with her, I was just kind of like, why me? But guys, I knew in the back of my mind, I needed the opportunity to be at home with our future kids. We didn't have them yet. And I didn't necessarily know what that looked like. My husband has no schedule. He's an engineer with the railroad, so he travels. And then we had bam, 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 3 kids back to back to back. And my hands were beyond full then. They're still full now, but on a different kind of level, games and practices and all the things. And my husband still travels with his job, so that hasn't changed. What I'll tell you is that where you are and where you want to be, the difference between those two places is just a decision. There's sacrifice that comes in. There is decisions. I mean, I paid sitters when I couldn't afford it. I did all the things years ago to really get myself on a track to be where I am. So I've been in network marketing for about 12 and a half years. And it's just truly been kind of like the family. I have a great family in some aspects, but not a positive family. So this has really helped mold me into the positive, driven person that I am by being around this type of space and showing up on calls like this and going to the events, whether they're digital or in person. Guys, all of those things matter to really grow into the success that you want. So I want to give you a couple of tips. And one of them is to keep your business simple, duplicatable, and fun. Because if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, you'll do less of it. So it's important to stay in your lane. It's important to do the activities that bring you joy. Because if they bring you joy and you're having fun, you'll do 10 times more of that specific activity than you're going to do on all the DMOs or and those things are important to an extent as long as you're having fun. But if you find yourself getting to a place where you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like there's just not enough time in the day, or you feel pulled in too many directions, strip it down to the areas that you really just enjoy. If you just can't get over when someone messages you and say, Lacey, thank you so much for sharing this with me. I feel incredible. Here's the things that it's helping me with in my life. And that just like makes your heart explode. Do more of that. If you absolutely love helping your team members crush their business and have financial choices and things like that, then do more of that. Or maybe it's both, but you really got to find your joy spot and your lane. So so keeping it simple is also super important. Guys, this business doesn't take a ton of time. I think we think we're working our business a lot, but when you actually put pen to paper and write down, what are you actually doing? Are you blocking out time and saying, okay, for the next 15 minutes, all I'm doing is engaging in stories? Or for the next 15 minutes, all I'm doing is following up with my customers that ordered last week, or ordered trials last week, or watched the video last week or the last couple of days. You'd be shocked at how much activity you can get done in a tiny amount of time. Here's where we feel like we're working a lot, because we work on social media. It's really easy to get in the scroll roll, right? Like you're scrolling and you're engaging and you're like, oh my gosh, it's been an hour. Now I've got to go cook lunch. Or, like you get pulled in this other direction, or, oh man, it's almost time to go get the kids from school, because you're not being diligent with your time. So setting timers and turning off distractions, or just telling yourself, I'm not responding to any messages. All I'm doing for this 15 minutes is getting out activity, because you'd be shocked at how much activity in 15 minutes you can get done. So here's what my DMOs look like in the day. And yes, my kids are all at school, and yes, I do this full time, but I promise you, I have team members that are doing these exact things around a full-time schedule with kids. There's times that, my kids have been at home distance learning. They're not right now, but they were in the spring. I wasn't working any differently then than I am right now. So also, before I get my DMOs, is a lot of times what I'll find is people that are finding themselves not being where they want to be. It's the commitment and the discipline to the commitment. And what I mean by that is We want these things, but are you willing to do what it takes to get there? You know, some people throw out, oh, I want to be diamond. I want to be a platinum leader. Okay, but this is what it takes to get there. It takes getting on calls. It takes showing up every single day in your business. Even if it's 30 minutes, but it's intentional and it's every day, it can be very, very lucrative to only have 30 minutes in a day. But then there's days that you might work 10 hours, you know, like literally there's some days it's going to be more. And that's the beauty of this industry. You know, on Monday, I took my daughter out of town 2 hours away for a foot appointment and 2 hours home plus 2 hours at the doctor. I mean, I didn't have near as much time to work that day as I normally would, but the time I had, I was super effective. I was intentional because I had my list ready, being prepared. Whenever you commit to an event or you commit to being on a Zoom, and then it takes the tiniest speed bump in your day to be like, oh, I can't do that now because, you know, so-and-so called and they need me to run here. Like, I get things happen, but when it takes the tiniest thing to be like, oh, I can't do that now, like it immediately gets put on the back burner. Those are the things that's going to set you back from getting where you want to be. It's commitment. Like I said years ago, when I had a newborn, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a husband gone 60% of the week, never knowing when those 60% of the week was going to be because there was no schedule, I hired a sitter. We were paying an amount every week. She was an absolute godsend. Let me show you what my life looked like in her picture right here. Newborn, 1, 2. And it was just a crazy, crazy time. On top of that, I was going through all kinds of hormonal craziness and postpartum and all the things. So I just knew that I needed the sacrifice of money that I didn't necessarily have to pay somebody to have the time to make my business a priority, because it was important to me and it brought me joy. I love being a mom. But I am one of the people that doesn't get complete fulfillment out of having a clean house, cooking. Some people just really get a lot of enjoyment out of that. I don't. I get enjoyment out of seeing stuff in my house that I paid for. And I was at a place in my life where everything I looked at, my husband paid for. And that bothered me. So that's why I got serious about earning money in this industry, but having the flexibility. So here's what my DMOs look like. I do 20 reach outs a day. Reach outs is to my warm market. It's not a cold message. These are people engaging with me on other things. They're liking or commenting on my family posts. They're liking or commenting in my stories or on my goofy stuff. Like, do you like the mountains or the ocean? I mean, anyone that's engaging with you, they like you, right? Or they would just scroll right past you or like snooze you or not even engage at all or not even be friends with you. So if they're engaging, they like you, right? And so why not just ask them? They're watching anyway, even if they don't. You ever notice you'll do one of those like, hey, I'm getting ready to go get my hair cut. Should I chop it off or should I keep it long? And you get like 700 comments. No, not really. I don't get 700, but just say you get 100 comments. But then you're like, oh my gosh, this product has been so revolutionary in my business. And you get like a like and a comment at your aunt and your mom, right? Like they're still watching and they still see that. So don't quit sharing that, sprinkling it around your life, because they are still seeing it. And so it takes the warm market reach outs, in my opinion, to really explode your business. And you can't get tied to the outcome. All you have control over is the action, which is the ask. So I do 20 a day. That's my ultimate goal, is 20 a day. And I just say something like, hey, Lisa, thank you so much for engaging on or commenting on my family post yesterday, or whatever it was that I posted. I just wanted to reach out and say, you know, I enjoy engaging with you on Facebook, and I'm just curious. You maybe have seen some of my other posts about a product that's helped me so much in my life. I'm just curious, would you be open to a little bit of education about it? So guys, I always lead with education. I don't go straight in for the, oh my gosh, this would be so great for you, and can I send you a trial? Like, I don't go straight in for the sell. I go into the education, because most people are curious, like, well, yeah, I guess I'd be open to a little bit of education. And so then the Ellie app, guys, we have incredible tools here. Incredible. You don't have to be the know-it-all, thank goodness. First of all, it takes too much time, even if you do know it all. I know a lot, and I still don't answer the questions. I use the tools. Like, get on the Ellie app. Okay, great. Thanks for being open to it. Here's a link. It's literally 3.5 minutes long. The coffee, have you heard of Happy Coffee? And it's got almost all of our products. It doesn't have some of the newest ones, but I'm sure we'll get that soon. Give me your feedback. I'd love to hear what benefit that you heard that you would love for yourself. So I give them a reason to respond. I send 20 of those warm reach outs a day, and typically I get 2 to 5 videos out a day. If that's all you did, you're going to have a great business. Like, if you get a lot of joy out of people showing you love and thanking you for showing them this product, introducing, if you did nothing else but 20 reach outs a day, you're going to explode your business. And literally you can do 20 reach outs in no time with your warm market. Here's where there's another step that I like to do, and that's add 10 new friends a day, because at some point you're going to run out of warm market, right? So I like to add 10 new friends a day. And then I also do happy birthday messages, because that's a really easy way to engage with people. And typically, if I see that I've told somebody happy birthday for 2 years in a row and they've never even seen it or they've never responded, I might kind of go look at their page and be like, okay, they literally never share anything. Unless I know them personally, which I probably don't, or I haven't seen them in a decade, I unfriend them. That's kind of how, it sounds sad that I'm like, happy birthday, oh, unfriend. But like, that's how I go through my whole friends list every year by doing happy birthdays. And so the happy birthdays sometimes tie back to the video they forgot to watch or forgot to respond to me on. It's crazy how that'll happen too. So 20 reach outs to warm market, 10 friend requests. I also like to post at least one thing a day on my Facebook. I try to post 2 or 3, but no more than 3. But if at minimum, if you're like, I really struggle with having enough content, 1 a day is great. And then make sure it's not always about your product. Guys, you didn't sign with Elevacity. All of a sudden you have no kids, no husband, no hobbies, no life, right? Like, you have way other aspects of your life besides our business and our product, right? So you need to make sure your Facebook doesn't look like a Elevacity magazine. Like, it's your life. And I love that our company asks us to do that. Like, brand you, be yourself. Don't be Elevacity and wear all of our, like, yes, we have some super cute shirts, but in every day you don't have to wear one of our shirts, or like wear normal clothes. Like, you know what I mean? And I love that. So make sure you mix it up. So I like to do lifestyle one day, and then I'll do lifestyle and a product post one day, and then lifestyle the next day. I mix it up, and then I like to do 1 to 2 a week about the business. Remember in your posts that you tell more stories than facts. Stories sell and facts tell. So I think it's important to have a telling post every now and then. Literally, I don't have probably more than 2 in a whole month, but I try to tell mostly stories. So if I make a post and just say, I can't believe the amazing mood control that I get with this product, who could use some more mood control? They're like, I mean, it's just not very moving, right? So if I say something like, guys, I just had a big takeaway yesterday. I sat through my daughter's basketball game without jumping out of my skin every time the buzzer went off like I used to. And it feels so good to feel like at peace in my insides and just truly enjoy the game without being like looking at my watch ready to get out of there. Because I didn't say anxiety. I just described what anxiety feels like. And that's how I used to feel all the time. But I told a story. So when someone reads that, they know I'm talking about anxiety, but they also can relate if they feel that way. Like, oh my God, I know that buzzer gets me every time. I need what this chick has, right? So you're piquing interest through telling stories about what this product's doing for you by a benefit of the benefit. So when I say stuff like, I'm kind of scared to, or not scared, but I'm kind of, embarrassed to admit I used to be the yelling mom. Like, there was so much going on all the time and like stuff getting spilled, and just I felt like I was just pulled so many different directions. I love that when something does go wrong, I can breathe through it and I don't yell, and it feels good to be in control. And I actually have a girl that just signed on my team last week because she's been watching me for years and has never been a customer of mine. But when I said something about being the yelling mom, it was the right day that she read that and was like, I need what she has. And then she fell in love with the product, and then she decided to sell it. So it's from telling stories. So just think, if you're like, I don't know, I just don't feel like I'm a very good storyteller. Guys, I used to be the girl that slapped nothing but the product all over my Facebook and wore the clothes every single day. Like, that used to be me. So I didn't used to be good at this either. But if you just think, what are like 3 to 5 things about this product that I love? Energy, focus, appetite control. What do these things look like? And then how has that one benefit benefited my life? And that's how you paint a story. And those are what people will interact with. Even if they don't interact, they read them. And that's when you contact your warm market, they've read these stories. And so they are intrigued. They may just not ask you until you ask them. 30 minutes of personal development a day. Guys, this has been like, if you honestly, I say the 20 reach outs if you do nothing else, but seriously, you have to invest in your mindset, because a good mindset, you don't get tripped up by the no's. You don't get tripped up by the negative knowledge. You don't get tripped up by the team member that decided to leave your team or not do anything, or you just don't get tripped up by the small things because your mind is strong. And so if you take at least 30 minutes a day to invest, and I used to be the person that would say, and literally until last month, I started doing some personal development with a leader in our company, and that's been like life-changing for me. In 1 month, the things that have changed has been insane. And it's all been from slowing down enough to take some time for personal development, because I was the one that would just hustle, grind, hustle, grind, hustle, grind. And then in 3 or 4 months, I'd be like, I can't hustle. I can't, I'm exhausted, right? And there is some truth to slowing down to speed up, because you can actually be way more effective and have way more success with taking the time for your mindset, because your actions will be in the right place. You'll be more inspired. You'll be more bold. You'll ask people that used to scare the pants off of you to ask, because you're like, hey, I want to work with them. I'm just going to ask them, if they're a customer of yours. Or I have a girl I actually just asked today, and she's asked me about the product, but she's never tried it. But this girl markets everyone else. She literally is marketing her clothes today from the company she bought from, and it's not an MLM. She bought literally this cutest outfit from Walmart, and she has this adorable story and like showing it off and all these cool features that I don't even know how to do in my stories. And I'm like, she's marketing for everyone else and making $0. I'm just going to ask her. Well, worst case, she'll just tell me no, right? So when you have your mind right and your posture, I love how Ray Higdon talks about posture, which basically is confidence. Be confident in what you're sharing. Why are you here? Why did you join this company? You could just be a customer, right? But you took the next step and said, I want to share this with other people. So quit getting in your own way of the what ifs and the no's and the rejection, because I promise those no's turn to yeses later. That's really cool about this industry too, because they watch longer and they're like, okay, my life's changed. Maybe I do need to give this a try. Or I keep watching her win and I want to win too. I just love her and I want to do business with her. So the no's turn to yeses later. Okay. Asking for education. I already went over that. I'm looking at my notes here. So here's one thing, guys, if you do those 20 reach outs a day, that's a fantastic and all, but you know how much money you're leaving on the table if you don't follow up? Like a lot, because the money comes in the follow-up. So if you're asking people about education and they're telling you yes, and then you're sending the education and then that's all it does, that's all that happens is you just send it and then you don't follow up on the video, you're leaving like thousands of dollars on the table. Okay. So make sure after you send the video, if the next day they haven't said anything, all I do is just say, hey, good morning. I just wanted to check in. I just want to see if you had a chance to check that out yet. And I put like a finger emoji with a heart emoji. Emojis are fun. Use them. They also make your words lighthearted, because some people have a hard time reading tone in a text. So use emojis. So that's it. Oh gosh, I forgot. Or yes, I did, and I forgot to tell you what I liked. Here's what I liked. And so it's just a ping pong back and forth conversation. So following up on your trials. If you take the time to get education to them and send them a trial, why would you not follow up and see what they're loving best? Hey, Sally, I'm just checking in. I'm excited to hear, what are you loving best about your dose trial so far? What are you most excited about is the question, like the golden question. Because if you say, how's it going? You're not controlling the conversation. And if there is a concern, they're going to let you know. But if you say, what are you most excited about? They're going to tell you what they're loving most, and then maybe follow it up with but I might have a little headache, or, and then you know how to hey, how's your water intake? Are you getting enough water? It's just question back and forth. So following up is huge. You can do all the things, and if you don't follow up, you're leaving tons of money on the table. Let's see here. I'll go back to the joy spot and the lane. because it's really, you can watch trainings and be like, okay, now I need to do that. Oh, now I need to do that. Now that's working for her, so let me do that. And like, then you get spread too thin. So you really just need to ask yourself, where do I really find the most joy in my business? And then I'm just going to be okay with putting my blinders on and doing a lot of that activity and being okay with it. And then maybe I can sprinkle that stuff in once I get really good at this one. Guys, the quickest way I got to platinum and then diamond was the 20, sometimes 30 reach outs a day. And then all I did was follow up, reach out, follow up, reach out, follow up. And then guess what? I organically have 67 people on my personal team. Because when I have a customer that says, when I follow up with them, because I follow up with my customers the first few days I got the product and then a week or two after, and just kind of keep making sure they're loving it. And then I kind of back off and I'll check in like every 3 months or so. But if I reach out to them and say, hey, Chelsea, I'm just checking in to see how you're loving your dose experience. I know you're about a week in on it now. I just wanted to check in. And she says, oh my gosh, I am loving how I feel. All my coworkers are asking me what I'm doing because I'm so happy and singing and bebopping around there. And then you're like, that's fantastic. Hey, I'm curious, Chelsea, who do you know that may want to feel as good as you're feeling right now? And then and this is literally a girl that just signed on my team too. I said, when I asked her that, she said, everybody. So guess what? I agree with you. I think everyone needs this. I mean, it's obviously helping you a ton. I know it's helped me a ton. What do you think about hearing a little bit about our business opportunity and making some extra money? Or I'd be happy to work with them as referrals, but I mean, I'd be happy to help you make the money too. And they're going to let you know, oh, that's not really my thing. You know, I'd be happy to give them, you know, hook them up with you or do a 3-way chat or whatever. But yeah, that's not really my thing. Or if you ask somebody, hey, I'm glad you're loving how you feel. Who do you know that may want to feel as great as you do? And they say, oh, I don't really know. I mean, if I think of somebody, I'll let you know. Okay, awesome. I appreciate that. And I just let it be. But if they're like super jazzed and excited and everyone needs it, ask them. The worst thing they're going to say is, oh, nah, I don't think that's for me, or I'm just way too busy, or whatever. But 67 team members, basically, I'd say 95% of them came from my customer base. And it was just because I was following up, and then judging off of their response would depend on what I asked next. And that's how I become a platinum in 2 months and a diamond in 4. And that's literally all that there is to it. It's consistency too. Guys, you bet with COVID and kids being home for 5.5 months, holy cow, and husband traveling and all the things, like there's times that I have to make myself work, but I know I'm not willing to let anything slow down momentum wise, because I just didn't want to show up that day. I mean, goodness gracious, we can literally sit in our pajamas and do our job from our bed as we drink coffee. I mean, it doesn't get any more easy than that. And you can have a ton of fun. So that's all I had. I don't know how long that went, but if there's anyone that has any questions or anything, I mean, I don't know if we can take a minute to open it up to that, but I'd be happy to.
Absolutely. If anybody has a question, just unmute yourself and Lacey would be more than glad to answer any questions. So we'll give you guys just a couple minutes.
Hi, Lacey.
Hey, Cheryl.
I have a question. What about, do you have any suggestions if you give out trials, free samples or whatever, you try to connect with people and they just ghost you, they don't respond at all?
Well, yes, I do. First of all, I'd highly encourage you to not give them out for free. Free gets you free. Like free gets you not committed. So I highly encourage to always charge for your trials. I charge 10 days for a 2-day or $20 for a 4-day. And if they're like, oh man, I don't really have the $20, hey, I totally understand. When something changes, let me know. Because if they can't afford $20 for a trial, what's the chances of them buying a full dose? So financially, when they become ready, I just let them know, hey, when you're ready, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, cool. And I've had people in 2 weeks or the next when they got paid or whatever. But I feel like if you give them away for free, I get way more responses like that where they ghost me than if they paid for it. Because if they paid for it, they got skin in the game and it doesn't just sit in their purse or sit in their car or get thrown away or whatever. And a lot of times people just don't want to tell you, oh, I haven't taken it yet, you know? And so I'll follow up 2 or 3 times. And if I don't hear back, then I just kind of drop it. But it can get kind of frustrating if you're investing and you're sending them trials and you're not charging, you're paying shipping and you're paying for the product and then they're ghosting you. I would just really encourage you to charge and see the difference. Literally, last November, I did kind of a trial run just to kind of have some strategy for future. I had always charged for my trials up to that point. And then in November last year, I did nothing but free trials. I got out 50 trials and I had like 8 or 10 new customers. And then my average is 10 to 15 new a month when I charge for trials, but I get out about half of that many. So sending out 20 to 25 in a month on the norm, getting around 15 new customers versus giving 50 away and getting 10 new customers. So I was doing twice as much work getting all those samples out because people wanted them for free, but having the same or even actually less people become customers. So I highly, highly recommend charging. And don't feel guilty or feel bad to ask somebody to pay for the trial because you didn't get it for free, right? And so if I have someone go, oh, I'm sorry, I thought they were free. Oh man, I actually pay for my trials and I do that so I can help my customers be able to have the opportunity to try it before they buy it. So if something changes, I'm here, just let me know. I hope that helps, Cheryl. I would just try it for a month and see what happens on selling your trials versus giving them away. And you can't control it. Even if you sold the trials and they're just not responding, then maybe how you're asking, I don't know. I always ask in a positive way. Hey, Sally, just checking in. I'm super excited to hear, what are you loving best? And, if they don't respond, I don't have any control over that, but I don't get too tight. It's kind of like going over a speed bump when you're driving. If you just kind of glide over it at 15 miles an hour, you just kind of, and you don't feel it as much. Like you feel it for like 1 second and move on. But like if you hit it and then you come down and then the back tires hit it, you like really feel it because you're moving slow. So I look at it like if you're moving fast and you're having conversations with people every day and you're getting videos and you're getting trials, you don't feel the slow speed bump of the no responses or the customer that fell off Smart Ship or whatever, because you've got so much new happening. You don't get tripped up by the few speed bumps, if that makes sense. I hope that helps. Someone asked, how do you do max trials? So what I do is the blister packs are phenomenal. So I cut it off because I'm having a hard time tearing them and getting them to not open. So I'm cutting them and I'm just creating, and then I use our Xanthamax blister packs. I always pair dose, guys, like always. If I'm just selling max trials and it's only max, that's what you're going to sell. And I highly believe in this dose product together, right? Like Max Plus with Xanthamax or the beverage with the Xanthamax. So I always send the trial together because that's how I intend for them to become a customer. So I cut the max off and I'm doing 1 max the first day, 1 Max Plus, and then 2 the other 3 days. So they're getting 7 of the max capsules, and then they're getting 4 Xanthamax just for 1 a day. And then make sure you include the info sheet, which you can get in the back office. I print 2 for 1 page off my printer, and then on the back I write out how they should take it. So day 1, take 1 max with 1 Xanthamax. First thing in the morning, drink lots of water. Day 2, 1 max, 1 Xanthamax in the morning, and 1 in the afternoon, lots of water. Do that for day 2, 3, and 4. And so they feel fully prepared when they get their trial in. And then when you follow up, they've already dove into it because they're fully got everything right there in their package. Anyone else have a question?
And how much do you charge for that?
I'm charging the same as I do with the beverage. So a 2-day is 10 and a 4-day is 20. And I did the math, and on a 4-day of max with Xanthamax, plus even if I'm sending it with shipping, if I'm shipping it, it's costing me around $19 if I have to ship it, or about $15.50 if they're local, or $15 if they're local. So I'm not losing any money. And then if they're local, I'm actually earning about $4 or $5. So
this was awesome information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad you got value out of that.
Hi, Lacey. My name is Becky, and I just had a question. Like, I don't have any kids at home. I don't have any animals right now. I'm not currently working. I'm just doing this business. I'm a massage therapist also, so that's kind of shut down right now too. But I am doing a lot of the what are they, getting the pictures and adding the gifts and whatnot, making it really exciting in my stories. I do talk about my lifestyle a little bit, but I'm running out of like creative ideas of like how do I get people engaged in a way that like they'll be interested in answering and coming back and be like, oh yeah, like I had one girl that said PM me after I posted something, and then I got back to her and I asked her, I was like, did you want to talk about the business? What do you want to talk about, and kind of asked her in different ways, and she saw the things and she never responded. And I'm like, and then I've had the same thing other people have told me, oh, I'm loving it, and then they can't get it. Or it's just, I'm not really worried so much about them because they've already had the product. It's trying to engage more people. I've been friending, like I went from like 100 and some friends to like everybody wants to be my friend now. So I've got like almost 500 people. So I'm like, okay, so one day I went through all the people that have friended me, every single person, and said, Happy Friday. Every single person. And just been going through everybody's stories, just like taking 20 minutes, just letting them roll. And then, so I know I'm getting more interaction that way, but I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I engage these people instead of trying to go to every single one and get their attention, to get them curious. What is a good way of doing that instead of like, I'm doing it in my stories all the time, but I know people like, oh, she's probably going to do something about this again.
Yeah, it can get a little bit tricky, and you can feel like, okay, gosh, like I'm running out of ideas. And I think something too is just go follow a few leaders in Elevacity and kind of see like what their rhythm looks like. I know for me, I like to do about 2 a week. I like to do an engagement post that has nothing to do with coffees or our products. So like I said, gosh, I mean, there's so many different things. Are you a mountains traveler or an ocean traveler? Just any kind of like opinion, because that it will boost. Also Facebook Lives, guys, like those suckers are incredible. And when you do a Facebook Live, make sure you have 2 or 3 bullet points that you want to share. Keep them under like 5 or 6 minutes if you can, and add some kind of value, because people will follow you for value, and the value may be, recipes, or the value may be hobbies or crafting or decorating or whatever, but they're following you for that. But then like a couple times a week they see these posts about coffee and how it's helping you with this or that. And I think too, making sure you're telling stories in your when you post about the product, and make sure you're adding a new audience, guys. If you worked at the same office with 20 people and all 20 people either tried a trial or became a customer or whatever, and then like that's the only same people you saw every day, like your business is not going to grow. So on our Facebook, you might have say 1,000 friends. Like the way Facebook works, only about, I don't know, 20 or 30 of those people may actually even see your post. So you got to make sure that you are adding new people to watch your Facebook. That's why adding new friends is just as important. And here's the deal, Becky, you can't get tripped up by who's not doing things. That's part of mindset. What you're focusing on, you're going to get. If you're focused on, oh, these people probably going to respond, or why am I even doing that? Like your energy when you're putting out the effort, when you're engaging, it needs to be high energy. Even though you're saying the same thing, it attracts people to you. So it's super important to make sure that what you're putting out energy wise, that's what you're going to get back. So I don't know if that's helpful, but everyone goes through ruts where they feel like what I'm putting out, people just aren't. And the algorithm can sometimes just be weird. Like today's been a weird algorithm day. Like there's just been not a lot of engagement on my stuff. And I don't know, there's sometimes just no rhyme or reason. It's however Facebook wants to work that day. But just don't get discouraged. Keep putting out the action, pivot and learn from it as you go, just like you're asking right now. Ask your leader. Guys, we have incredible leadership here. Don't be afraid to reach out to your leader. A lot of people are like, oh, I just know they're super busy and I don't want to bother them. Like, I promise you. And like, if you've reached out and they are just haven't got a chance to get back with you, can ask somebody else. Like, it's okay. Because we're all happy to help here. So I hope that helps a little bit, Becky.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else? Okay.
Can I ask you one
Well,
more question,
Lacey, that
Lacey?
was amazing. Oh, did someone say something?
Sorry, Judy, it's Cheryl again.
Oh, that's okay.
I was just gonna actually do that uh, samples. So how do you, like, what do you say instead? Okay, obviously you're not gonna say a free sample. Do you just still offer samples to people, or, and then if they respond, you tell them how much it is, or what, how do you handle that?
Yeah, so I don't like to call them samples ever, because I feel like samples insinuates free. So I like to call them trials or experiences. So switching up your verbiage on that may help a little bit with people saying, oh, I thought it was free. So if someone says, oh, I thought it was free, I'll just say, oh, that's okay, no problem. You know, I actually pay for them, and I choose to do that so that my customers can have the opportunity to try before they buy. So if something changes, let me know. Just for future, I do charge $10 for a 2-day or $20 for a 4-day. So it still gives you an opportunity to try it before you have a bigger investment. So is that something you'd like to try, or you know, I like to say, you know, is there any reason we couldn't get you started on that? Is there any reason you couldn't get started on a 2-day or a 4-day? What would be best for you? Like, go ahead and just assume they want it. They're going to let you know if they don't. And then same thing on a trial pack, guys, or a experience, whatever you want to call them. If they're on a trial and they're loving it, I'm going to say, you know, is there any reason we couldn't just go ahead and get you started on your 30-day supply? I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. And a lot of times they're like, oh, okay. Or they're on day 1 and they're loving it. I'm not afraid to go ahead and try to get them to become a full-size customer, because I let them know there's a guarantee, and they've got 3 days left of their trial. So hopefully they don't have to go without it. So I hope that helps. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time and having me on here. I hope you got some value out of that. And Judy, thanks for asking me to be on here.
Awesome. Lacey, thank you so much. You gave such great value. We could probably sit here all night and listen to all the things that you have to share. But I love that you say keep it, you know, simple, duplicatable, and have fun, right? We got to have fun. We have to enjoy what we're doing. And I love that, you know, you do 20 reach outs, and I love that. It's not always has to be about the coffee, right? It could be reaching out just to connect with them. And I love that. So I learned a lot. I'm going to add 10 new friends a day. I've got to get rid of some of the ones I got, but I love all the tips and tricks and the value that you gave. So everybody, let's give Lacey a huge round of applause. Let's unmute. Let's show her some love and how much we appreciate her for doing Take Action Thursday. Thank you so much, Lacey. Woo!
Thank you. Good job. So much information. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Lacey, thank you.
Thanks, Lacey. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you back here next week on Take Action Thursday. Remember, this is where you guys can get some incredible value. We have different leaders that come on every single week, and you never know what information they're going to share with you to get you to take action. So have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, Judy.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night.